Yeah. I'm feeling a little bit better. I go through stages like that. I don't know why. Sometimes I feel so bad, and other times I feel fine. Um, Today is Saturday. It's the 22nd, and I was looking at some videos that just happened recently. The fire in Rio Doso, and also the haboob that hit us, that struck us the other day. That was day before yesterday, wasn't it? No, it was actually. Yeah, it could have been. Is when I had my line changed. Right when I got home, we got hit with this horrible sandstorm, and it was all downdraft stuff. So my house got full of dust, and even the cats were coughing, and it's like, so I have this wheeze, constant wheeze, and I've been using the albuterol inhaler, but I think it's part of the process. So I don't know if I'm supposed to get congested and then later start spewing stuff up. Like I used to be as a smoker, when my lungs would get all sick and congested from a cold. It didn't take too long for I was coughing up phlegm and then I'd cough it up and then you have clear lungs. So I haven't been able to do that because I have a dry lungs ever since this began. So maybe it'll start breaking up. I don't know. I need to ask these questions, but how do you ask a question if you're not prepared for what's coming until it hits you and then you have to present it to the doctor and then they go, oh, well, that's quite normal. That's quite normal. Normalcy. That's normalcy. You know, I wanted to share that when I received of an angel of the Lord, and it was Gabriel. He placed me in my house, Manasseh, and he told me several things that was important, especially regarding the guff, like halls, halls of, of souls, of living uh, people who are to be born. Yeah, because the guff is the place where all things are created. So, anyways, it seems different once you understand it the way he was explaining to. So, he said that he promised me 3.5 years of normalcy, and he didn't explain that. He just said that he promised me 3.5 years of normalcy, and he placed a seal upon my forehead, which was an upside down triangle consisting of 6 dots. It wasn't lines, it was dots, red dots, right here, perfectly on my forehead. And it was witnessed by 2 people, and one accepted, one denied. And it took about 2 weeks before it disappeared, but after I initially got it. So I've thought about that 3.5 years of normalcy because it was 3.5 years after that time when I had my experience with an out of body sort of experience in outer space where I found myself seeing in heaven with these 2 galaxies colliding. And I wasn't as a star. I didn't shine as a star, so I didn't have on a wedding garment. I was but a rock floating in the vastness of space, watching this beautiful event, this dynamic, incredible event of two galaxies merging. And suddenly I found myself bound by my hands and my feet and cast into the abyss. And I woke up back in my room, and it was back where I came from. And that's how I understood the millstone, that it's in 2 parts, where I'm a rock in heaven and I'm a stone on earth, and the two must come together again. But in understanding of the wedding, it must strike the foot of that great statue, which is soul, the soul body, which is the sun, not the earth. So I'm going to strike the sun, not the earth. And of course, the resultant CME is what fills the body with light. Yeah, when the two become one. the whole body fills with light. So I understood that I'm the one man who showed up at the wedding without a garment. For a purpose, I suppose, for this day. So fulfilling scripture, of course. And they say, well, that was just a parable. Was it? Yeah. So my grandmother, Anne Milne, and I'm a product of her, I am a Milne stone as a result. And she is related to Christopher Robin Milne, that of Winnie the Pooh. Who knew? I'm the Pooh. So, anyways, normalcy still bothered me through those years trying to understand what normalcy was. I don't think I ever understood normalcy. And was it normal seed? Was it normal sea? And was it the sea or was it to see? And so I certainly don't see normally. No. So this morning I'm doing my self what do you call it transfusions, self transfusions. Yeah, that's what they are. And I was putting in my antibiotics and the saline, and then first saline, then antibiotics, then saline, and then heparin, filling my line, filling my body with that stuff, and trying to go slowly. Sorry, I'm wheezing a little bit. You might hear a whistle come out of me. Um, and I looked at the syringe, and it said normal saline written up the side, but I could read it backwards too. Normal saline. Well, saline is as the sea. Yeah, saline is as the sea. So normalcy. This is normalcy. The saline. And I thought that's very strange. And then when I looked at the word normal, spelled backwards, is lamb Ron. So okay. The lamb with seven eyes. And see, I have seven eyes, which are moles across across my body. And they come up. There's another one up there. There's seven of them. I think there's one underneath the tape. And they go across my chest. And then I have one on my arm right there. And they're moles, and they're ugly. And since I was a child, I hated them, having these big, huge, big moles, and they protrude, they're bumps across my chest. So I never would go in public with my shirt off, and swimming at a swimming pool or anything like that was very embarrassing for me. I didn't participate. I didn't like sports because I didn't want to take my shirt off because I had these ugly things on me. So when I became an adult, it's not like I had the money to have them removed because moles have root in them. They have a root. And so I tattooed them. And it's a little star, and it's got 8 points on each one. So it's a square with the tendrils coming out of it. And a mole is a spy. Mole is a spy. As the spy is an eye. And so it's seven eyes that I have with one on my right arm. I always hated the one on my arm because no matter what I did, if I didn't wear long sleeves, people could see this big old ugly mole sticking off my arm. Drove me nuts. Now I have another mole that I don't ever see, and it's in the back of my neck, right back there on my hair, right on my hairline. But it's a bump. I don't know what it looks like. I've never held a mirror to look at it because I never was bald before. Always could grow hair. I noticed it more so when I was in the military. That's probably the guys who marched behind me recognized me by my mole on my neck, which is strange. Moles are strange to me. Yeah, they're spies. That's why they're eyes. So, anyways, I tattooed them, and I'm not embarrassed by them. They kind of look like bullet holes. Like, oh, look, that guy just had bullet holes. Just bullet holes. But how strange about the saline, uh, normal, normal saline, and 3.5 years. Well, I haven't been on saline that long. They do the saline drip for me where they hydrate my body. So I'm feeling that normalcy for 3.5 years is I need to be hydrated. Um, I guess you call it mechanically, it drips inside me from above. Plus, there's a pump, so there's a little pump action going. So that I take in this saline. They can give me up to 2 bags sitting down, and it pumps me up, takes away some of my wrinkles. Um, yeah, it fills me up. Where the desert sucks me dry, drains me, and it doesn't take long. And it can be, between the 21 days of uh, being given saline, by the time I get to that 21 days, I'm pretty dehydrated. Yeah, which I just missed because I just came out of inpatient. Stay, it screwed me up. Going inpatient screwed me up, especially them holding me hostage. I should have been released on the Sunday following and didn't get released until the Friday. And that's just frustrating because I'm sitting there waiting, waiting, waiting. There's no procedures to do other than give me my morning meds and then run my IV. Give me my morning meds and run my IV. And that's what the whole issue was. They wanted me to stay to finish my IV. So they wanted me to stay an extra 9 days on top of that. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm going home. This is ridiculous. And so that's when they had to offer, well, first they tried to say, well, we can send you to skilled nursing instead, not nursing home. For me to sit there too and wait for the nurse to come around every 12 hours? I don't think so. So that's why they finally agreed to setting me up with the self infusions. Yeah, with the saline and heparin and all that. And then for them to discover. Now they said they listed it that I patient refused services. Now I didn't refuse. I mean, I did refuse them to do blood pressure because it has nothing to do with my condition. And if you're looking for a reaction, no, you're not going to get one because we've been through this so many times and I've already been on that medication. Everything I'm infusing, I've already been on in the hospital for 7 days, or at least 4 of those days, as they discovered secondary infections. Because they found out that in my gut I had the bacteria blooming, then a UTI, I had a different bacteria blooming, and then rectally, and then everything was just blooming, blooming, blooming. I was a big blooming onion. All the dust and everything that's carried in this valley of death here, under 3 crosses on a hill, well, that's why we call it valley fever. Yeah, anybody that moves to Las Cruces will develop valley fever. It's an actual condition. So if you were to type in your search engine valley fever, it would tell you that it's the dry bacteria spores trapped in the dust that gets blown around and it gets in your lungs and it gives you this miserable, miserable experience. Flu-like symptoms, things like that. Body aches, it's terrible. And it's so prolonged that it can ruin your job. I mean, like say you come to El Paso for Las Cruces for a new job, and you just get started on your new job and you're settling in, and all of a sudden you get valley fever, and then you're looking at 6, 9, 18 weeks of flu-like symptoms. You can't do your job. You end up being sick, going to the doctor, and then I've seen it happen to a lot of people that move here for the first time. Maybe it's better to visit a few times and take it home. Get over it where you are, and then when you're ready to move, then when you come here, you'll be a little bit more, I mean, like the natives. Yeah, see, my teeth are finally starting to take their color back, getting a little bit whiter. They're still not very white, but something in the hospital, something that they give me in the hospital, just wrecks my teeth. I don't notice it on anybody else, so it must be specific to what they're giving me. So, anyways, how interesting about the normal saline. 3.5 years of normal saline. So that makes sense, I guess. Getting over uh, small cell carcinoma of the lung, I don't know how. I mean, I guess you never get over it. Remission just means it's just sitting still and you're functional. I mean, not under treatment, that is. So once I get past treatments and it's stable, then I'm in remission, I guess, until it flares up. But every cold is going to feel like a flare up. And so I'm going to have to constantly go and get saline, normal saline, normalcy for 3.5 years. So now that I'm not the Antichrist, I'm telling you, I'm not against the Christ. The Christ is the dragon. I'm not against the dragon. I'm all for the dragon. I'm voting for the dragon. I want the dragon to take his power back. I want him to bring righteousness upon the hypocrites. I want him to judge mankind, all of us, for righteousness. I want him to judge us. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that's what he did to Job. God says, you just do it. Judge for righteousness and keep what's good. Discard the rest. Yeah. So, yeah, it's important. So the devil can only accuse, but in doing so, what he's doing is he's going to judge mankind. Yeah, for righteousness. Yeah, so that we do the right thing, that it all be exposed. And by his word, it shall be our Father who art in heaven, art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will, the will is the scroll, be done on earth as it is in heaven. Righteousness exists in heaven as anger, righteous anger. It's what allows children to walk into heaven because it's not hatred. But in the hands of the hypocrite, righteousness becomes hatred. Yeah, it's exposed and it's discarded. Yeah. See how easily the dragon has caused them all to expose themselves? You watch some of those congressional hearings and you wonder, why aren't these people in jail? Lying. Yeah, well, it's coming. It's a comment on you. The dragon. It's his millennial reign. So everything that he sets forth by the O pen from this day forward is going to carry us through for the next 1,000 years. Yeah, this nation will survive. One nation under God, indivisible. Yeah, so we're so blessed. We are so blessed that the Christ is the dragon, and we were told he would come in the name of the Lord. Well, he did, didn't he? Yeah, and he's bound by his word. Those are the chains that will bind him on earth. He's not going to be in heaven. No, the Lamb gets to go into heaven. The Lamb will appear as if crucified, and he has 7 eyes and 7 horns. So he comes in 2 parts. Now, Ben Yosef, the messenger, and Ben David, the king. And they're the 2 witnesses. And the first witness already was taken out by the beast, which is Judaism, and taken out by the beast, which is the Pharisees, which then eventually Paul little it all became political. They were the powerhouse of the day, as they were always Rome, and a Senate, and all the works. And then there's always this one that wants to rise up as Caesar. Yeah, well, the Caesar we have now is the Antichrist, because he's against Trump. Anyone who's against Trump is the Antichrist. Yeah, is an Antichrist. That's what they are. The Antichrist is by, of course, being held by the beast, which is the puppeteer, the CIA, which is Mossad, as it is Hamas, because it's all the same funding. It's just like the Revolutionary War, 1776, 1777, whatever, that that instituted this whole foundation. The king, what did he do? He supplied money to both sides. He won, no matter who won. Yeah. So we pay taxes to whom? Yeah, that's never been ratified. So it's the liberty given us as through the president, through the seat and the power of this nation, through Congress, to enact, to correct, to fix these wrongdoings, to bring this nation out of this pit. Yeah, well, the minister talked for a while. He still comes to it. Our birthday is 11/15, so Revelation 11:15. The Lord and of his Christ. Yeah. So easy to see. They're not the same. So we know the Lord is in the grave, fulfilling 3 days. They suffered not to bury his body. No, they did not. And they rejoiced and gave unto each other gifts of the Spirit in that upper room, for which then they received the dragon. Yeah, they did. Paul, he rejected the Lord. He denied the Lord 3 times as the cock crowed. He declared the Lord the Christ, and the Lord told him only the Father in heaven would reveal such a thing, proving that he was with the Satan. The spirit of the Satan was in Peter, and it jumped around, and Judas had a job to do. He was the only one that could listen. Yeah. So as to fulfill, and he was speaking to two. Yeah, 2 in 1. The dragon, the Christ, and the Lord, Yeshua. Yeah, they fell asleep. They couldn't even stay up with him. Not even an hour. So they're given their power for but an hour unto the beast. As we see, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, spiritual. So we're the spiritual portion. That's why I'm in the holy city, which is Las Cruces, under 3 crosses on a hill. That's why I hear Gethsemane is Yosemite, and why the Anasazi are the Anunnaki, and how it's all parallel. It's a parallel. It's a situation where the 2 hemispheres were working together, almost like twins separated. Sure. The storylines, they keep folding on each other. And it's a greater story than what we're given, considering that all of it was a construct, as it is magic, to bind it. It's a spell, and it's why Babylon was destroyed the first time, and the languages were dispersed, so this sort of thing wouldn't happen again. But it's happened. English is English, as it is what the angels speak. It's the culmination of many, many, many languages to create English, which created the Anglican Church, which separated themselves from the barbarians, which were the Vikings, or what we call the Bereans, which are the children of. Bar means son of. Barbarian, barbarian. Yeah. See how they've twisted every story. The victor keeps taking the victory and rewriting history. And yet we're waking up to cellular memory to tell us otherwise. By the very words that you're giving us, we can read it. That it's contrary to what the stones are telling us. Yeah, even archaeology, they're the worst. They're they're probably the first arm of that media tool that the elite use to rewrite their history. Yeah, the Medusa, as it is pharma, Med USA. It's all built in. So, normalcy, normal sailing. Sure, the lamb and Ron. Yeah. And the sea is important because, Legion left the man in the grave, entered the swine, who then threw themselves in the sea. As the sea are the people, and so re-Legion, they are many. Yeah. The beast is Judaism as it is Zionism. The false prophet is Islam. And the dragon is the vanity of Christianity. Yeah. And you want to get on board with an angel who's going to be forgiven, who actually is the Son of God. An angel is the Son of God. Our Lord is the Son of Man. Man is not God. Man is the creation, that which was loved. Yeah. And I don't believe in the stories that were written by that Zionist effort to destroy Esau and to steal his inheritance, and then to venerate Jacob. No, we don't venerate Jacob. Jacob is an example of what we have as our world leaders. Those who steal and take and steal and even derive the notion that our nation's national parks are theirs to conduct over, to prevent us from experiencing when we are the inheritors. We are the righteous and we are the meek. There's such a big difference in people. I always say that those who wear tie are but hanged men. Yes, they are. And it's enlightening, isn't it? If you're upside down. So we turn around in the soul body and we start to see in a different pattern. We start to see by having our feet on the sun and rising up into the light of day that we rise up through the soul body, that the planetary structures line up to reach Pluto. And so when we look through the eye, we're casting light into the kingdom. Certainly. But the other way around, with the Mithra head, those who have the sun on their head, well, they're dangling their feet in plutonium ways, in radiation, 5G technology. Look at all the things and the devices that come with such a thing. I mean, can you imagine that? Could you have imagined such a thing? To you, it's normal. To me, it's not. So this is all new to me. So, and a laptop. This is my first laptop. It's quite delicate to me. And then I have a big screen where I used to have a big clunky computer that had the backside built in, and it looked like a TV set and it was heavy as shit. You literally have to move it, and then finding the ones with the case, and they make a lot of noise. Look at where we've come. Uh, I wish I could learn more about it, how it works, because I think it's part of the world to be able to buy or sell. Yeah, it is. The way people access things. It's going to become a cashless society, mainly because of the thieves that are presented in this world. Imagine if everybody was carrying cash in them, on them, with all these illegal rapist migrants. Yeah, illegal aliens. Alien is actually, that word is in the Bible, the word alien. But I also know that it speaks of those fowls of heaven, which are aliens, those who come to eat the flesh, because it's all consuming in the soul body. We are a parasite living off of the host body, as we are apportioned to the generations as we are the genitalia, Earth and Mars. You need to understand that. So communication is not through Mercury and Mercury retrograde. No, that's the tiny dancer. No, the communication is through Neptune in the throat, the three passages. That which is upon the sea, as the sea are the people. Yeah, these things are very important. So Uranus is down on its side. It's our heart. So it represents, Uranus represents our wants, whereas Venus represents our needs. Our needs are our needs. Yeah, that we should all be on our knees, that no stone shall remain standing. Yeah, so a rock in heaven, a stone on earth. Yeah, it's important to know that. And of course, of those stones, which is everybody who has received the word. So the stone is the person who has received the word. Yeah, which of course the rock has received it too, which is why we've come together. And it's why men shall see fire fall in sight of themselves. It is themselves falling to the earth. They don't have enough sense to where to go. Their Mithra head projects onto the earth, like a footstool, and so they're harming the earth in plutonian ways and what's about to fall into the atmosphere. All that debris is themselves, returning unto themselves. Is there a portion to the host above? Jupiter the belly, Saturn the ribs, the stag who shall throw down its crown. So they're the elders, 24 elders, the ribs. And it's the ice that surrounds Saturn that can be thrown down towards the sun that can regenerate Mars through star water. All that water can pour out onto Mars, just as it did to us once before. That the waters above mixed with the waters below. A portal between Mars and Earth opened up through technology used through that tower moment that they were creating. And the waters poured forth. And that's why we have a mix of species that don't make sense. They poured with it. Were we salt water before or fresh water before? I think we were fresh water, and Mars was salt water. And Mars contained most of the fishes of the sea. That's why they're so Martian-like. The aliens of the sea. And it said, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil sends his wrath. Is that how it works? Yeah. Woe to you of earth and sea, for the devil sends its wrath upon you. Yeah. Well, there you go. There's inhabitants of both the earth, which are mankind, and of the sea. And so there's a greater intelligence living amongst us too. through the sea. Not only just the species of intelligent whales and dolphins, but the ISOs. Isn't that what they call USOs? The underwater submersible objects or unidentified submersible objects. Yeah, USOs. Yeah, that's it. UFOs, USOs. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, we wonder. Was it that movie called The Abyss that they had the alien in the deep, 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 deep sea and someone lost a nuclear sub and I forget the actor's name that was in that. Anyways, yeah, it's a good movie. So that's the day, I guess. I didn't say the day. The 22nd. That's craftsmanship. 22 is a mastery of craftsmanship for the betterment of mankind, of course. And its work, as it is a four, it's a door, but it's a mastery of. So it's a mastery of balance, yeah, which is uh, equality. So it's craftsmanship. Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with perfection, but it can't find perfection in there. But whereas perfection is the seven. But this 22, yeah, um, it has a hand on it, yeah, because of the six and the eight time, potential time, the nurturing of time, and maybe it's the as a pregnant woman, it would be time because the expansion outward would then start to drop, and the child would take up position in preparation for birth, turning on its head. So maybe those of us can understand that it's time to turn over in the womb and see a greater understanding of the direction of our thoughts and what we project upon. We don't want to walk in Plutonian ways. We don't want that. No, all the sciences that they're presenting for us are poisoning the air, the water, and the food, and they're doing anything in their measurement to prevent us from dying from exposure of it, cancers and other diseases, autoimmune systems, things like that. So microwave technology is frequency as it is sound, it is vibration. So 5D, five dimension, raise your frequency, your vibration, is a ploy because while it's happening around you as a toy, it kills you. Yeah, because it's against the flesh. It's death upon the flesh. Radiation is the death that does not die. So look at what mankind has done. It's the abomination. And it enters the womb, which they use abortion as a tool to cover up the true volume of the distortion, of the desoul, to de-soul, to remove the body. Yeah, the soul is the body. Yeah, it is. Mind, body, spirit. The mind is limited, the spirit is fleeting, and the soul is everlasting. Truly. So the hand upon the craftsmanship of mankind, well, it creates the nine. Yeah, it does. So it's the spirit. So it's in the spirit. It's for the spiritual realm. It's not for the physical representation. The construct is not going to make it. The spiritual is going to make it. And we connect to the spirit. We accept. We don't deny it. the night is the caretaker, as it is the caregiver. There's the right hand and there's the left hand, and there's the direction of flow. And together again, yeah, the whole body fills with light. It's the future. The future is light. And it's about free energy, sure. And it's about uh, health, as that will, family, restoring the family, removing the defiled nature of the face of the child that they've done through transgenderism has to end. This dysphoria, this dysphoric nature of pushing such a thing. Actors acting, their masks that have to be removed. So that's important to know. Okay, enjoy. It's kind of quiet because Jeff had to take the cat, the little kitten, for his next series of shots. And we get to find out why he's not growing. He's a midget. So I hope he doesn't have that problem that little Redmond had. We'll find out. And if it is, it could be environmental. I think I'm going to sneeze. Okay, take care.